All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for participating in the poll. We always love to kind of get a feel for who's in our audience. I'm actually going to share the results so we can all see. We've actually got the majority of people with over a 3-year relationship with Fortinet, which is great. Quite a few authorized, got some silver, gold, and a fair amount of platinum as well. And it looks like that's very encouraging. It looks like we were getting more referrals and word of mouth attendees, which is really exciting. I hope you all really like the poll, and I have a feeling most people are Googling the answers because we usually get most people are correct. So whatever you got to do. But yeah, most everybody is right. Damascus, Syria is actually the oldest continually inhabited city in the world. There are some other close calls, but generally accepted that Damascus, Syria is the oldest inhabited city in the world. So a little something we all learned today, which is great. Let me take this down then. All right, so I want to welcome everyone to episode 7 of our webinar series called TGIF, aka Thank Goodness It's Fortinet, where we host a new topic every week on all things Fortinet every Friday. It's either at 1 p.m. Eastern Time or 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today we're going to be covering FortiOS 6.2. Now, in case you're wondering, I am already recording today's session, and I'll be sending a link of the recording afterwards to everyone who's registered for today's episode. So we definitely encourage you to share with your team or anyone else who might find the info helpful. So just a quick introduction. Myself, my name is Dana Mead. I'm part of the new exclusive networks team here in the Miami office. My focus is particularly on business development in the SMB space. Just a couple quick housekeeping items before we get into it. Just take a moment to check your microphone. If you're not currently on mute, just take a moment to do so. As everyone's logging in, I'm giving you all permission to mute and unmute yourself, but we still want to try to avoid any background noises if at all possible. So we do really like to keep this as interactive as possible. If you have questions, please feel free and comfortable to unmute yourself and speak up. I know David in particular really likes to make sure he doesn't feel like he's the only one talking out there. But if you prefer to keep it just to the Q&A or the chat, that's absolutely fine too. I have help on the back end to answer questions as we go through today's session as well. So also FYI, I'm going to have an exit poll at the end of today's session to get your feedback on the delivery and content of today's session as well. So if you can stick around for just one more minute to take part in that poll, we would really appreciate it. We find it very helpful. So today is a very special episode of TGIF because we're actually going to be finally announcing the winner of our Death Star Lego set. Hopefully if everyone's had a chance to register and enter themselves multiple times for the winning, but you have to be present on the webinar today in order to qualify and collect the Lego set. So make sure you're not dropping off too early from today's webinar. Once we get through the slides and David completes his demo, stay tuned because we're going to announce the winner. So we'll see who has the 4 strongest with them today. All right, so just to get into it, David, can you pull up the next slide, please? All right, so just a real quick review of Exclusive Networks and who we are. We are actually Fortinet's #1 global distributor. We have over 62 offices worldwide, and we also offer a global deals desk to handle even complicated international deals, and we also handle all the logistics to almost anywhere in the world, plus configuration and staging and tagging. We focus entirely on cyber and cloud security solutions. We are very proud of our responsiveness, rapid turnaround on quotes, technical advice, configuration, and sales support. We also have a boutique style model to the value add distribution. So with us, there are no 1-800 numbers and email aliases. You have a direct contact with all the resources that we offer. It keeps things a lot simpler, and that's how we like to do it. Next slide, David. Thank you so much. So just a quick review of everything else that we offer. We combine specialist value add technical and marketing support with the volume and reach of a global distributor. We have extensive pre-sales and post-sales support, but this definitely helps to build qualified leads and close more deals for you. Fortinet NSE certification training plus group or one-on-one trainings, and that can be either in person or online. Plus, we offer a range of financing and leasing services that'll help cover every IT project requirement and technology. And we have a solid and growing list of vendor partners. These are all chosen specifically because they integrate perfectly within Fortinet Security Fabric. So just an idea of who we are, but I am going to post my contact information below for David and myself. If you have any additional questions or would like any follow-up training or any additional info, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help. So just allow me to quickly introduce our presenter today, David Yang. He is our Senior Director of Support and Services. David's been with Exclusive Networks, or formerly known as FineTech, for over 8 years. And before joining Exclusive Networks as Support and Services, he's held various positions such as application developer, software QA, information technology, and systems engineer. So David brings a lot of information, experience, and to the table. So David, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you.
Thank you, Dana. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. And let me bring up the agenda today. So hopefully you guys, besides the Lego set, you can bring home some understanding of the Fortinet's latest OS 6.2. I'm going to briefly talk about what Exclusive offer regarding the support and services, which is the department I'm responsible for. And we jump right into the OS 6.2. And I also believe since a few weeks ago after Accelerate, Fortinet has been pushing a lot of introduction about FortiOS 6.2, which is packed with lots of features and functionalities. And I kind of summarize a few things and point out the most important thing I think will be benefit for everyone. However, if you see or if you know something else you want to know deeper about or even see more technical demo, feel free to post in the Q&A or just raise your hand, and we can definitely put that into our future TGIF agendas. So just quickly talk about the support and services that we have. Exclusive has a team of support and services people. We are NSE certified. We provide pre and post-sale supports. We also, I think the most important thing for us is we help you to do some migration, jumpstart, and staging services. All of them basically just take your requirements or your customer requirement and your expectation. We can configure, we can repackage and set it up and send it over to the location within the United States and Canada, or even worldwide if you need to, for their plug and play services. And we can also provide some kind of a remote login to get them started and give you some kind of training or give customers some kind of training, all based on your requirement. And we're representing our partner, you, as our best customer. We also provide some vulnerability testing. We can help your customer to see what's the vulnerable part of the network or devices. We're using third-party software and services to do that. We also provide training services, which including the Fortinet NSE training. That's a third-party training facility. Besides Fortinet's its own facility, we also have a third party that has agreement with us. They only provide training, nothing else. They don't sell any Fortinet products or technologies. They only provide training services. And we also ourselves, we are so-called cloud competency certified, meaning that we can provide you or your customer cloud technology understanding of training. So because cloud becomes so popular, we'll help you or your customer to understand what cloud is really about. And this including the basic and more advanced or even cloud securities. Any questions, feel free. Now, we jump right into the FortiOS 6.2. So this is a chart I pulled off from the Fortinet that provide you an overall understanding what's supported with the FortiOS 6.2. So you can see that most of the E series, actually pretty much all the E series supported 6.2, and some of the D series support 6.2 also. And you can see there's a 6.2 plus, which is any future development will be done on those. And you can pay special attention to the 100F, which is new product announced. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in the later slides. So a couple things when the FortiOS 6.2 released, I think the most important, at least from my point of view, I definitely want you guys to take home with is two things. One is SD-WAN, the other one's security fabrics. So Fortinet put a lot of effort and a lot of improvement to help people, to help customer to start and to get into the SD-WAN. SD-WAN basically, from industry point of view, there's a lot of different company or different vendors offer SD-WAN, either software or hardware. However, to top all this, SD-WAN offered by Fortinet is security plus SD-WAN. Right? SD-WAN, I think we all know what it's about. The slides really give you an overall understanding what SD-WAN is about. However, to be really certified as security and SD-WAN, Fortinet probably is the only one and on top of everybody. So just give you guys a quick overview of SD-WAN. So it's basically WAN resilience. So SD-WAN in the new feature of the FortiOS, it provides the path remediation or conditioning, basically try to find the best path, or if any WAN link is down or has some problem, have any errors, then the 6.2 will have the forward error correction or remediation to still provide a reliable and error-free path to the different WAN or different branch office that you have. And also, the new 6.2 provide tunnel bandwidth aggregation. It's based on per packet steering, which is give you a multiple path aggregate bounding together to provide a better throughput of bigger bandwidth they can use. And also in that tunnel bandwidth aggregation, you can choose different algorithms such as round robin to have a better bandwidth usage, utilization of the bonded bandwidth. And also in the 6.2, there's application aware. So basically, FortiOS has the capability of recognize what is the high application, what's the high application that use most in the throughput that FortiOS will recognize that and provide better application usage. And also there's a multipath intelligence. So based on the previous 2 points we mentioned, there's aggregation and application identification that's really provide the best SLA that you can use to configure the SD-WAN to the best way you can use. And you can also use the newly improved SD-WAN to monitor, to understand what's the usage utilization of each path. Now, top of the, like I mentioned, we definitely want to mention that Fortinet has grown or developed all the way from the start as a security company. So to combine the security with SD-WAN, Fortinet's probably the best solution you can meet in the industry. And also, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of CTAP. In the previous episode, we talked about CTAP in one of the TGIF, that mainly the CTAP for the FortiGate, and use it to persuade or let customer understand what Fortinet is really about. Now there's a CTAP SD-WAN coming up pretty soon that you can deploy the CTAP SD-WAN to let the customer really utilize their multiple WAN connection and use CTAP to drive the same understanding of how security is important for the customer. Now, again, SD-WAN, most important is performance, right? And so Fortinet developed or really newly released the FortiSOC4. This is basically a system on chip generation 4, which has provide the best security and also the performance for SD-WAN. SD-WAN becoming a very big market, probably toward $4 billion in 2024, I believe. So with this ASIC developed by Fortinet, is with tremendous help or improve the security and SD-WAN capability of your FortiGate devices. Fortinet, throughout the year, Fortinet started with the ASIC in the firewall, in the UTM business. So ASICs being developed in the Fortinet business for the past maybe 20 years now. They've been gung-ho, or maybe I should say, or very into using the ASIC to help performance and also securities. Now, along with the 6.2 release, Fortinet also announced the 100F. So if you look at each letter at the end of the numbers, you will understand that's representing different series. So F series is right after E series, F series, which perform probably much higher than any E series you can imagine. And 100F, most important thing we'd always talk about, like Christian and me always discuss this, is it comes with 2 10 gig SFP plus ports. That's not heard of in this low pricing, pretty much medium level devices that you can come with such high performance and still without any compromise on anything else. So the best advantage of this 100F, everybody expecting it, is the 10 gig and a very high throughput with SSL, tunnel, and SD-WAN, like I mentioned, including, that's because the SOC4. Now, besides SD-WAN, like just I mentioned earlier, Fortinet, it's all the way for the security fabrics. So one more time, you see this slide probably a million times, but it's all about security fabrics. So security fabric is broad, it's integrated, it's automated. It's very important that any security is actually covered as broad as you can be nowadays, and also end to end, from the beginning all the way to the end devices, such as any IoTs, which we will talk about this a little bit later. Again, this is a greatly improved, and Fortinet will continue to improve and continue add more feature and function, and also add more partners into the security fabric architecture. So again, security fabric family expansion within Fortinet. There's already FortiGate. It's already in the security fabric. FortiSandbox, FortiClouds already in the security fabric. Now in the 6.2, we add more into it, which including the FortiMail, which is very, very important and very, very good products. I've been using for the past probably 5 years as a very great product. And there's a FortiADC, there's a FortiDDoS, FortiWeb, and FortiWLC. WLC is I'm not sure if you guys know this one. This is basically dedicated wireless controller, which is one of the acquisition Fortinet made a few years back. It's a Maroon network, right? And then, so there's a new feature, new visibility, new usage you added into this security fabric, including the settings, including topology, which we'll talk about this a little bit later. And you can easily add all those members we just mentioned into the security fabric settings. And we're going to touch a little bit about split task VDOM or split VDOM, which is basically is very similar to what you think like SDN. You separate the management traffic versus the data traffic, right? A lot of requests coming from the customers saying that, hey, we have a VDOM, but how do we deploy the security fabric into the VDOM? And this split VDOM is one of the major improvements that Fortinet made. And again, there's a dynamic policy. So based on your security fabric, you can configure differently and use policy with a very granular details. Again, we'll touch base a little bit this time. For the past few, I should say, past 7 or 6 TGIF we have done, we also did some demos. For this particular one, I didn't put in a demo because there's so many things we can talk about. I don't want to pick a few and left out the others. So what I really appreciate is, just kind of side mention that if you guys have any question, anything you want to see more, you want to see a demo, you want to see more technical discussion, please put it into the Q&A or put in anything that, or send an email to us, let us know. We will implement that. We have many TGIF coming up, so we can pick any topics you like. I'll definitely help to address the concern or the interest that you have. Now, again, security fabric. So you can see the kind of screenshots of the security fabric setting that you can add. You can easily add any Fortinet device, Fortinet product into that, into the security fabric devices. And once you add in there, you will see from the physical and even topology, physical and logical topology, you can see the map, you can see how they connected, and you can drill into it if you want to. So it's basically a single pane of glass that you can have multiple security fabric products, technology add into your management pane. So this is just a very simple screenshots, and I kind of took from a source that you can see that from the security fabric setting on the left, you can see the main menu. On the settings side, once you click a setting, you can see that you can add a security fabrics. So each of the fabric devices, you can add ADC, mail, DDoS, WLC, anything, or even AP, they can all add into that. And once you just type in those information, get access, then from the FortiGate, they will connect them all together, and you will see a topology. There's both hardware topology, physical topology, and as well as logical topologies. And you can see this from this picture. This is all screenshots from a FortiGate device. So you can see that on the right-hand side, all the fabric devices that you have added, and on the bottom of the screen you can see that which one they are all connected, and they're all connected with the FortiGate to form overall security fabric topology together. Now there's a split task VDOM, like I mentioned to you. It's very similar to idea of SDN, software defined network. So you have a management VDOM, then you have traffic VDOM. You have a in the FortiGate, you can basically enable the split VDOM from the CLI, and then you will have two major different VDOMs. One is management itself, the other one's data traffic. From the management, you can set up all the security fabric information or connection. Then from the traffic, they only pass traffic and send the information to the management that connected to the security fabrics. So basically, it's very similar to the idea of SDN. So this is a screenshots of the split VDOM. Right? You can see there's a traffic VDOM and there's a management VDOM. So the managing VDOM is actually under root VDOM, as you guys probably already know. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys are interested in VDOM or at all, but if you do, please again send a request or send some mention in the Q&A. Let me know if you want to drill more into it, and maybe we can arrange the next TGIF to discuss this. So the dynamic policy. Now, once you add all those security fabric into it, so you need to set up the way to set up the security policy to control them or to filter them, right? So one way you can do that, just under the VDOM, you can see on the screenshots that you have addresses. You put the address in there, you put fabric devices in there, then you can, if you guys already know the FortiGate's security policy setting, you can add this address into your policy. You can set up firewall policy, and within the firewall policy, you can set up different shaping, different traffic shaping. You can also set up the ACL policy. There's a new features in the FortiGate OS that you can set up ACL to let different devices to access certain destination, and you can change, you can block, you can allow, you can monitor. So this is a Fabric member synchronization. It's a great thing to have because you in the security fabric setting, you can see this on the bottom. There's two screenshots. One is really for the analyzer. The other one is sandbox, right? So in the security fabric setting, on the left, you can set up to pair with FortiAnalyzer, which means all the log will be sent into the analyzer, and the analyzer will synchronize with the FortiGate's information and provide you security ratings. And on the right-hand side, you can see the sandbox inspection. It's all can be aligned with the FortiGate. You can set up so everything's one management portal or page that you can access differently, or you can set up differently. Yep. And then the FortiClient EMS, basically, there's also a setting in the FortiClient EMS side that you can connect with your EMS, and then also getting all those FortiClient information and send it over to either FortiAnalyzer or FortiSandbox. The other thing I want to mention that is there's a wireless, I should say, the new feature that add into the wireless. FortiAP is very, very popular, although maybe it's not as famous, I should say, as name recognizing by among any others like Meraki, those. But FortiAP works very, very well with FortiGate as a controller, and the FortiGate provide same security for the Wi-Fi. So AP deployment with the FortiGate is very easy, and it's all based on standards. So, and I like FortiAP very, very much, and I continually recommend customers to use FortiAPs. Now, the wireless part in the 6.0, they added very interesting things, location map. So in the right-hand side of the screenshot, you can see that there's one, maybe not as clear, but you can see that there's one red Wi-Fi symbol there. That you can see that if you have a floor plan, you can import it into the FortiGate wireless setting, and then you can see the floor plan on there, and you can deploy or mark where the AP is at. And on the right-hand side, you can see that there's more drill into the AP information. This is a great information because in the past, when I tried to work with the AP, I was trying to understand how the AP really performed. And this, if you click on the AP itself, and you can see the AP drill down, and you can see all the health information, all the signal information in there. Another thing that Fortinet in the 6.2, they had something called phishing SSID. this is, like I mentioned in the slides, it's a CLI only. You can use CLI command to set up, to check if there's any phishing SSID. So you type in the command, set phishing SSID detect, enable, which means, well, besides rogue AP, right? We all know what rogue AP is. I'm not sure if anybody understand what phishing SSID is. Basic phishing SSID is that there's an AP out there, it's unrecognized, unauthorized, and try to publish the same SSID that you have, right? So people will possibly misrecognize that as sign and connect to it, and then anything happened because you got into the phishing SSID, and probably all the information will be captured by that specific AP. This is what a phishing SSID is about, and it's a great feature that add into it because nowadays Wi-Fi is everywhere. Phishing SSID is a dangerous point. Now, and then next thing I want to talk about is QoS enhancement. So in the 6.0, there's something called Wi-Fi multimedia, WLAN, which is a QoS. It's a marking of the packets, right? So the 6.2, we Fortinet translate that WLAN into a so-called DSCP, different service code point, which will help you, or which will help to making the QoS easier, and then especially for voice and video, which is very traffic sensitive, data sensitive of the any latency. So, and this is also can be done in the CRI only at this moment in 6.2. Right. And next one will be airtime fairness. So as we all understand, airtime fairness is a very interesting one, that if you have many Wi-Fi endpoint devices around, that some very far devices, very far away from the AP devices, they could have lower performance, lower traffic utilization. And the problem is, the AP will usually monetize them and make them all the same speed, which is unfair to any better devices closer to the APs. So the airtime fairness can be done on the CRI also, and that provided that you can provide better airtime for the device that has better performance or closer to the APs. And last thing I want to talk about is the troubleshooting. This is great stuff because in the past, you guys probably had experience with this. To troubleshoot the connectivity or connection with the Fortinet AP could sometimes become troublesome. So Fortinet provides better information, especially for logging and reporting, that you can utilize them and analyze them and to perform a different level of troubleshooting. Again, if you have any questions, feel free. Now, next thing I want to talk about is advanced threats. We all know there's a two type of scanning of the detection scanning. One is the flow-based, the other one's proxy-based. And in the past, it's all based in the security setting or security profile setting. But now, the flow-based and also proxy-based is per policy-based, which is great things for any one of us as an administrator or service guy, that we can, based on each policy, define if it's going flow-based or proxy-based. This is what tremendous improve the security as well as the performance of the FortiGate. And the web filtering, now we have more information we can do. Oh, by the way, the screenshots on the bottom, there's the first one on the left, that's the flow-based inspection. Or you can choose per policy based on flow-based or proxy-based. And the middle one is the web filtering. So now you can see there's more choices. In the past, there's just allow, block, monitor. Now you have authenticate, you have a warning, right? Which is very, very useful. All right, you can have more option to decide what you want to do with the web filtering. And the IP reputation filtering. So based on the internet service database, again, the CLI only, you have 5 different level. The default level is number 3, but you can use CLI to change different level and to provide better granularity to set different IP address, their reputation, or the IP reputation, those 5 levels, basically from high risk all the way to no risk. So, or I should say, no risk should be, so I should say safer risk or safer sites such as Gmail or Amazon or eBay, and then a little bit better reputational, probably like Facebook, but sometimes depends, right? So you can set different level in the CLI to have a better protection. And there's a URL certificate blacklist. So again, nowadays, a lot of malware, a lot of high risk or dangerous site, they use SSL, right? They can use SSL to bypass any detection, bypass IPS. So you can do this US URL certificate blacklist and put them into blacklist. If you see certain things, certain websites and URL are dangerous, you can put them into the blacklist and it will be blocked. And then there's a file filtering and the web email filtering. So basically you can use different, you can use the filtering mechanism set up in the security profile to have different type of file filtering. So if you look at the third one, the screenshot on the right, then you can see that you can set different file extension to be filtered from your web, right? Because a lot of people using web to download files, that you can do that too. So this provides much greater security protection. And then there's moving the botnet and command control center into the IPS profile. So basically just consolidate the botnet command and control setting into one place. This is a greatly reduced administrator task. Now, we talked about IoT in the beginning. So Fortinet Security Fabric really is protect end-to-end from the parameter to the network all the way to the end device. IoT, OT, we all know, become the big, very popular space now, and there's a lot of security risk associated with those. Now, doesn't matter if they have IP address or not, now you can use a MAC address to set up the security policy. So again, same place, you go to the policy of objects in the address place, you can select, you can define the address range. All right, you can define a MAC address and will based on the MAC to set up a security policy for you. And then there's a device summary and filtering. So you go to the user. We all know there's in the past we have you can see the user end devices. However, it's really doesn't really give us whole lot of information unless we really study into it and get more log information. But now there's a better GUI interface. You can look at it and understand what's going on with the end devices. Again, no, 6.2 has a lot of features. I believe there's a few hundreds in there. I just want to point out those ones that I feel like they're probably most useful and most important for us in the day-to-day daily administration and task. Hopefully this will be useful for you too. And then again, if you feel anything you want to get more into it, I'm very happy to provide another TGIF with more drill into technical sessions. And at this moment, I would like to share with you some of the portal I think is very useful. This is just one of my lab machines, 40 gates. I do some experiment with it. It's pretty fun with it. And this one is basically it's our corp devices, And this one is FortiAnalyzer. If you guys have any interest in understanding more, please pay attention to our FortiAnalyzer TGIF. And we also have FortiSIM, and there's a FortiCloud. If you just go into cloud.fortinet.com or FortiCloud.com, you will get into this page and you can log in and you can sign in with the Fortinet One. You can look at your FortiGate cloud or your FortiAP cloud, which we had done this earlier session of TGIF. Couple things I want to show you, and Christian always want me to mention this, is the video. So you can see this, there's a FortiOS 6.2, right? And there's tons of video in here. So you can start with this one. We'll give you all the understanding or basic understanding, brief understanding of the 6.2. And there's lots and lots of information regarding 6.2. And right, and there's a cookbooks, which is, this is one of my favorite sites. If I want to get a very high level understanding, I always go to the cookbook to search for a topic and try to get more understanding. And then if you really want to get deeper into it, then you have a user manual, those kind of things. Those will be in the docs, which docs portal, doc.fortinet.com. Another thing is very important, I think, to introduce you, if you haven't heard about this yet, is the partner portal. Definitely want to go to the training. There's from NSC 1 all the way to NSC 7, NSC 8, sorry about that. Then you can take classes from NSC 1 to 3, it's more sales oriented. From 4 and up, or 4, 5, 6, more SC oriented, and 7A is definitely professional service oriented. If you can get all those certificates, would definitely help you with your Fortinet or professional service revenues. All right, so this is the resource I usually or most oftenly like to look at. So video, I already talked about partner. If you already have a support, you should always go in there and you can grab the latest firmware. You can like 6.2. Maybe you don't want to run it on your production, but at least run on your spare or NFR machine. Take a look at what it is about. And again, if you have any question and you want to take more into a technical, then let me know. We'll design a special TGIF session for you. And there's a FortiGuard and threat map. So this is contact. Again, I don't have any demo for this time, but in the future, and the next one, we'll talk about UTM and NGIF, NGFW, and we're gonna talk about more technical stuff, and we definitely have demo. I probably will do some comparison between 6.0 and again 6.2 to see what differences and what the best feature that we can get out of the 6.2. This is contact, and again, your input, your suggestion, your questions are always welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. That was great. All right, people, moment of truth. I got a name right here. So first of all, thank you everyone for taking part in the raffle giveaway. It's been really fun for all of us. I've been anticipating giving it away. And we're really excited to share this. So give me just one moment. Let me pull it up here. Do not drop off. You must be present to collect as the winner. All right, so drum roll, please. The winner for our Star Wars Death Star Lego set is Jason Lederman from Connection. Congratulations, Jason. With over 75,000 pieces, you have many weekends of fun-filled Star Wars Lego theme time in your near future. Congratulations. I have your email address, Jason. I'm going to be sending you an email in later this afternoon. We're going to collect your information and we're going to be shipping this out to you as soon as possible. Very happy for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. We really appreciate it. We had a great time, a lot of fun doing this. I'm going to go ahead and actually post our exit poll as well, just to get some feedback from you guys on presentation, what you would like to see for future content as well. We're currently building out our next few episodes as well, so we'd love to get your feedback on what to present. And we're going to keep this webinar open for just a few more minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to pop up. We'll be here for a few more minutes while everyone drops off. But again, Jason, congratulations. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'll be getting with you soon. Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next week for TGIF. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend.